Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie entitled Disturbing the Peace. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a small town called Horse Cave, which is not very populous. The small town is far from the city, so not many people live there. Then, we are introduced to a police chief named Jim. Jim also has several subordinates, and one of them who always accompanies him at the police station is named Matt. Jim is a police chief who is quite strict and brutal to any troublemakers in his area. Then, the scene moves to a cafe near the police station. The owner of the cafe is a widow named Katie. Cafe Katie is always crowded with customers because Katie always acts friendly to all her customers. Soon, two motorcycle gangs visited the small town. They also passed the police station, and Matt immediately asked why a motorcycle gang was visiting the town so early. Jim replied that maybe they were lost. It turned out that the two motorcycle gangs were headed for Katie's cafe. All the customers were surprised when they saw the biker gang because there had never been one in their town. One of them asked for a beer, but Katie said that her cafe only served alcohol at night. The man persisted and tried to provoke Katie. Katie fought the man back by smashing the bottle on his head. Then, the two fought, while one of his friends stood by and watched them. Not long after, Jim came to the place. Jim managed to defeat the troublemaker quite easily. Jim told one of his motorcycle gang friends to leave town immediately if he didn't want the same fate as his friend, while the troublemakers he defeated would be taken to the police station. Arriving at the police station, Jim suspected the bikers were up to something. Jim then told Matt to take the troublemaker to the next town to be processed and detained at a bigger police station, while Jim would remain in town to keep the citizens safe. After Matt had gone far enough, it turned out that Jim's suspicions were correct. The other biker gang members and their chief are heading to the town. The scene switches to Jim, who is currently at Katie's cafe. Katie thanks Jim for helping her get rid of the troublemaker. But while they were talking, the light suddenly went out and the phone signal was cut off. It turns out that one of the motorcycle gang members has destroyed the electricity substation in the city. Realizing something is wrong, Jim rushes to his office to call for help. The scene moves to a car about to enter the small town. There was also one of Jim's men standing guard at the border. The car was deliberately speeding so that Jim's men would chase their car. After the car stopped, Jim's men tried to ask about the driver's license and vehicle registration. One of the car's passengers got out and approached the policeman from behind, and soon the man killed the policeman. It turned out that the passengers in the car were motorcycle gang members. After killing Jim's men, one of them then changed his clothes and stole Jim's men's car. Meanwhile, Matt, still on his way to the next town, suddenly saw a man lying in the middle of the road. But when Matt went down to check it out, the man immediately pointed a gun at Matt. It turns out that the person is also a gang of motorcycle gangs. Back to Jim, who was trying to contact another police station, but unfortunately, the telephone signal there was completely down. Soon, there was a noise in which the motorcycle gang troops had begun to enter the city. When Jim was looking sharply at them, suddenly, from behind, one of the motorcycle gangs pointed at Jim. It turned out that the motorcycle gang had come to Cafe Caddy this morning. Jim asked what they were planning to do in the small town, and it turns out that the motorcycle gang was targeting the bank in the town. They then ordered everyone in the bank to get out. Then, we will be introduced to the motorcycle gang leader named Diablo. Apparently, Diablo was born in this small town, so he understands the ins and outs of security in this city very well. Diablo even knows Jim, who has been the chief of police in the city since Diablo was a child. Diablo then ordered his men to open the bank vault. It turns out that one of the bank tellers is also Diablo's undercover men. Then, two of Diablo's men force the bank manager to open the safe. They manage to rob the money from the bank quite easily. Outside shows Matt, who has just arrived while being held hostage by two of Diablo's men. After that, all residents and bank employees will be held hostage in a church, including Katie. The scene moves to a bank officer who will deliver millions of dollars to a bank that is being robbed by a motorcycle gang. It turns out that the main purpose of Diablo and his motorcycle gang is to rob the deposit money that will come to the bank. Using an armored truck, two bank officers rushed to the bank. They had no idea that the bank they were going to was being robbed. Meanwhile, Diablo's men were seen moving all the money from the safe into the car, and they were ready to wait for the arrival of the armored truck carrying the cash. Shortly after that, a long-barreled rifle appeared and killed several of Diablo's men. It was one of the residents who managed to escape from the motorcycle gang ambush. Jim and Matt use chaos to escape. Diablo then tried to grab a woman who happened to be passing by. He threatens to kill her if the gunman doesn't come out. It was bad luck for the old man because the woman he threatened to kill was his wife. Diablo immediately killed the old grandfather. Diablo then threatened to kill the woman if Jim and Matt did not surrender immediately. Matt tried to buy time by sounding an alarm, but Diablo was not provoked and immediately killed the woman. Meanwhile, Jim tries to set a trap. After finishing it, they both rushed out of the room. Not long after, two of Diablo's men approached the room, and soon there was a huge explosion that immediately killed one of Diablo's men. Jim and Matt suddenly decided to split up so that they could more freely monitor enemy movements. Meanwhile, Diablo and his men were preparing to wait for the arrival of the money truck. They deliberately waited inside the bank so as not to look suspicious. After the truck arrived, the driver was a little suspicious of the situation in the city. He immediately told his partner to come out and check it out. And when his colleague entered the bank, Diablo's men immediately pointed a gun at him. They took the officer and forced the driver to open the back door, but the driver refused Diablo's request, so Diablo shot the officer. The driver immediately contacted the police, but Diablo said it was useless because they had disabled all communication access in this city. One of Diablo's men attached an explosive to force open the truck's door. Meanwhile, Matt is trying to immobilize one of Diablo's snipers hiding in one of the houses. Soon, the explosive exploded and managed to force open the armored truck's door. Diablo and his men were very happy because they now managed to get millions of dollars. Then, Diablo and his men rushed to the church where they had taken the citizens hostage. Diablo brought Katie out to lure Jim and Matt into surrendering. It turns out that Diablo really hates Jim because Jim killed Diablo's father then. Matt was preparing to finish Diablo with his long barrel rifle. Still, Jim forbade it because Matt was not very good at shooting from a distance and was afraid it would hit Katie. It turns out that Jim also has a long-barreled rifle and is preparing to finish off the motorcycle gang. Diablo, who kept threatening to kill Katie, finally forced Matt to surrender. However, Jim still decided to shoot Diablo's men. Upset with that, Diablo told his men to take Katie and Matt into the church while he would kill Jim. It seems that one of Diablo's men, who is hunting Jim, approaches a car, and the car explodes soon after. It turns out that Jim has prepared several traps for them. Meanwhile, inside the church, Katie tells Matt that there is a warehouse with a radio in it next to this church. With the radio, Matt could immediately contact the police from another city. Seeing Diablo's men, who were off guard, Matt immediately sneaked away to the warehouse. After making it to the warehouse, Matt immediately asked the police from another city to come. While in the church, Katie, who saw Diablo's men off guard, decided to try to fight her. Finally, Katie and Diablo's men are involved in a fight. After killing Diablo's men, Katie tells all the hostages to go to a safer place immediately. Meanwhile, Jim is seen preparing weapons to finish off all of Diablo's men. Suddenly, Diablo and his men came, and there was a shootout. Jim was lucky to kill one of Diablo's men, then hurried away. Meanwhile, the police from another city had almost reached the small town. Finally, Diablo gives up hunting Jim and immediately leaves with the money. Soon came Diablo's men, who had killed Jim's men at the border. He told Diablo that the police from another city would arrive soon. Jim, seeing an opportunity, then killed Diablo's men. After taking out two of Diablo's men, Diablo is now the only one left. Diablo plans to escape by using a motorcycle in one of the houses. Meanwhile, Katie enters the horse stable to take her father's weapon. Katie also brought her favorite blonde horse. Meanwhile, Jim couldn't face Diablo directly because he was out of bullets. But fortunately, Katie came and handed over her father's horse and gun to Jim. She hopes Jim can immediately kill Diablo, who has killed many civilians. Seeing Diablo fleeing on a motorcycle, Jim immediately chased him using a horse. Jim also managed to shoot Diablo's motorcycle and make him fall. Jim immediately approached Diablo and immediately killed him. A few weeks later, the small town was now safe again, while Jim and Katie now look closer, and the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, and comment.